Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. Good afternoon. This is your girl, LC, coming to you live with Love Thyself. Wanting to talk about self-acceptance a little bit. I have had a long day. I've been in class for a couple hours, but I skipped yesterday. Hello, Jennifer. I skipped yesterday, so I did want to skip 2 days in a row. And just wanted to come on for a few minutes. Hey, Felicia, a few minutes. Like I said, I am LC Lawana Kofor, coming to you live with Love Thyself, taking you from hurt to heal, unlocking you for purpose. Why? Because your heart matters. Hello, Tavares. Tavares, you need to stay on. You always come on and go off. You need to get a little bit of this. But I wanted to talk about a little about self-acceptance, because a lot of things go on with us in life and we get uncomfortable with a lot of things, and we begin to accept some things that we don't like, and we have the control to change some things. And a lot of times we don't make effort because how it feels, or we become uncomfortable. But there are some things that we should change, and there are some things that we just got to accept and just love ourselves the way we are, the way we were created. You know, we got to understand and realize that we're still beautiful, even though we may have marks, even though we may have scars. We have to love ourselves just as we are, because God did not make no mistakes. And we're still beautiful just the way we are. And sometimes we have to look at our heart. As long as you got a beautiful heart, as long as you believe in yourself, others will believe in you. But the problem is, when you don't believe in yourself, it's hard for others to believe in them and yourself. Hard for others to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. So we have to begin to accept a lot of things and just get comfortable with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, we often want to make changes or do something differently. And the reason the changes that we try to make don't stick is because along the way we encounter parts of ourselves, that gets in the way. And that's when we start picking things out. You know, I don't like this. This is not working. You know, this is not right. I don't want to do this. This happened to me, and I don't want this to happen anymore. And so we start rejecting things about us, and it put us in a place where we're not able to move forward. And that's not how we want to be. We don't want to be in a place where we're not able to move forward, or we're not able to make changes. And so along the way, you encounter parts of yourself that gets in the way. And those way of your negative thinking, you're self-sabotaging yourself. You know, you're not being kind to yourself. You're not speaking the right words about you and who you are, just because you have encountered things, just because those things that you encounter have left scars. But there is tomorrow. There is opportunity. There is chance. There is a thing such as moving forward, as having self-control and controlling those things that are around you. Sometimes we need to make effort. We need to do things to change ourselves and to make things different in our life. We hear the phrase, if you want something different, you got to do something different. And so when you want something different, sometimes we have to change our atmosphere. If we're around people that don't lift us up, that don't push us, that don't be honest with us, that don't tell us the truth, you know, those are the things that we need to look at instead of rejecting because of how it causes us to feel. It brings up old thoughts, or it makes us feel uneasy. We need to sometimes begin to search that feeling to see what that feeling is. Okay, it is of the past. It is something old, but let's deal with it and not reject it and not hide from it, where we cannot allow ourselves to heal. We don't want those things to cause us to keep us from moving forward, or to cause us to be stagnant, where we can't do the next thing, or we can't do the next step, or we can't hear from God clearly to know what He wants us to do because of the fact our feelings, how it makes us feel. It reminds us of what happened, you know, and what wasn't right. But I like to have the opportunity to work with people and change those things, because I can help you see a positive part or a point in it where it would change your perspective, and there's a healthy outlook where we can overcome. And just be more than conquerors together. That is not what you have, where you have to stay. That is not what you have to accept, because God give us power. There is power in the tongue, as well as it's power in the name. There's power in the tongue. We create a lot of things that is around us, or that is happening to us, or keeping us in a place. Because if you wake up daily and you're not looking forward to anything different, or you're not trying to change, or you don't want better for yourself, you will begin to speak these things to yourself, and you'll say these things over and over. How do I know? Because I did it for years. I said these things to me. I was hard on myself. I was negative about the things. Hey, Kiki, thank you for coming on both places. And I was negative, and I just gave myself a hard time because I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted everything to be right. I wanted to give it my all. And so we have to be careful with that, and we have to learn self-acceptance. There are some things about you just need to accept. That is, I don't want to say that's how you are, that's who you are, because we have to be careful with that, because who you are cannot be as good because of you accepting the wrong things about yourself. There's some things that are necessarily need to change, but there's some things that are about you that are unique, that you haven't even begun to tap into to know who you are and what you're capable of and what you can do. There's so much more to you, and you were created for so much more than what we give ourselves credit for. So I really wanted to come on and encourage. I wasn't able to come on yesterday, but I really want us to begin, self-acceptance, accepting something good about yourself. Anybody that is on here, is it anything that you can say about yourself that makes you feel good, that makes you want to wake up the next day? There are people that don't even want to wake up the next day, that refuse to face what will happen, refuse to face the negativity, the low self-esteem. It's people that are so hard on themselves. I was so hard on myself. I wanted everything to be so right. And because I feel like my parents wasn't in a place growing up, I feel like that affected me. I feel like I didn't want no more because they didn't have any more. I wasn't pushed to have more. I wasn't pushed to do more. I wasn't told you can do this. You can be anything that you want to do. You can have this. I wasn't told, I had to learn from what I didn't have and what I wanted, what I desired, what people have. I could remember myself looking at other families and other people saying, wow, I wish I had that. I wish my mom and dad was like that. Maybe I would have, maybe I would be smarter. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that, and as I got older, and I went through a lot of challenges, I can, in almost a lot of areas, I have had challenges. I have dealt with things and situations, and still is. But I learned to love myself. I learned to accept myself just the way that I am, and the things that I wanted to change, I began to work on them. And as I said earlier in another live, I said, God help me to accept the things that I can't change and change the things that I can. And so those things that I was able to change, that I didn't like about myself, that I wanted more about myself, I started doing things for myself. I started doing things to make me happy. I started putting me first. I didn't used to put me first. I put everybody first before me. I gave you my last dime, even if it hurted me, and I went without, and I had to figure it out. I made everybody happy. I was the one that my family members, they came to when they needed, that I supplied and I gave out. And when they are going through and they call, but I got to a point where enough was enough. Have anybody ever got to that point? Is that where you are today? Are you at a point where you're saying enough is enough? Because I had to get to that point. And it's not an unhealthy thing. It's a healthy thing, because you start looking at things differently. And it got to the point where if I could do it and it didn't hurt me, then I would do it. But if it would hurt me, I had to begin to put me first. It's okay to put you first. It's okay to love on you. It's okay to be kind to you. It's okay to pamper yourself. And I got to the point where I have been in bad relationships. I was tired of being hurt, and I just start spending time with me. I start doing things for me. I took me out. I went and bought me a shirt. I went and bought me a pair of earrings, even if I had to do it on the clearance rack. We got to start accepting the things about ourselves that we can't change. And we got to love ourselves just as we are, with attitude and all. But the other thing that we can do is get in the presence of God. I laid out before God. I spent time with God. I sought God until change began to happen, until he dealt with my heart. Because if God had not dealt with my heart, if I had not allowed God to deal with my heart, I would be a bitter person today. I would be so bitter. I would be so impatient with people. But God put people in my path so I can encourage them, so I can push them, so I can lift them up, so I can give them a different perspective, another pair of lenses. Their vision is blurry, and I cause you to see things differently. And I love the moment when people say, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't look at it like that. We don't always have to look at things from a negative standpoint. There's some positive in it. There's a root cause to it. But we're so impatient. We live in the past. We operate off our feelings, and it keeps us from receiving or having what we could have, or having that happiness that belongs to us. And I'm in the season, I don't know about you, but I'm in the season of the pursuit of happiness. Whatever I got to do to find happiness, whatever I got to do to just be kind to myself, because it's only one of you. You're right, Kiki. Self-care is self-love. It's only one of you. And when you're done, hey, there's no more you. We can't create another Kiki. We can't create another Janice. We can't create another Jennifer. It's only you. When you're gone, you're gone. And so we have to cherish the moment. We have to cherish ourselves so that our children can live healthy. And this what came to me last time. What we are and the things that we allow to happen and what we don't deal with, it flows into our children. I don't know about you, but I don't want that. So I work hard to be an example, not only for God, but for my children. I don't want them to grow up worrying what they don't have and what they could have and what they couldn't do. No, I want them to know that you can do it, that all things are possible. Go forward, whatever it takes, I'll support you. Isn't that what we want? Because we know how it feels. We know we have been there. You don't want the same thing. So we got to set an example. We can't self-sabotage. We can't be so hard on ourselves. We can't always be perfect at everything. That has kept me from a lot of things. And sometimes I look back and say, I should be so much further. But in reality, I'm right where God wants me to be. But honestly, if I would have been obedient in some moments that God had told me to do things, I would be in a different place. I would already have went past this area where I am today. I know that you want to be in a different place. I know that you want more from God. I know that you want more in your life, that you want to leave a legacy to your children, your grandchildren. You want them to have what you didn't have, but you can't get it if you don't begin to love yourself. How can you give them so much love when you don't even have it yourself? And it don't last. We want the love, the agape love that lasts. Not something where they say happy comes and goes. Because as soon as somebody comes and ticks you off, you're mad. Happy gone. We want the joy of the Lord, which is our strength. That lasts and stay. So when God tells you to do something, you're at peace with it. You're happy about it. You learn to accept those things. But when you're always hiding, when you're always rejecting what God is trying to do, the people he's sending in your past because you think that they may hurt you, that they're not real, that they won't be honest, that they don't like you, and they're going to do this because of your past experience, because your past wounds, your past hurt. We begin to miss out on a lot. So rejecting yourself is the things that is hindering your progress when we begin to reject and hide. So try to love on yourself a little bit. Try to be kind to yourself. Find something that you can love even the more. That place that you wish that was a little better that you can embrace. Begin to embrace you just right where you are. Because you know what? That's what God is doing. Hi, Anita. Thank you for coming on. God is embracing you right where you are. He's saying, daughter, I love you just the way you are. I love you just right where you are, in your skin, your size, your looks, everything. Embrace yourself. It's okay. And you'll embrace yourself so much to you'll be comfortable in how you are and confident in who you are, that eventually you'll start doing things about it. But when we're hard on ourselves and not saying the right words to ourselves, not speaking those things that be not as though they were. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. When you're not speaking the right things, we're speaking death over ourselves, and we're wondering why things cannot come about, why things cannot flow and happen, because we're speaking death. We're continuously speaking death, speaking evil, unkind words, and God saying, I made you a jewel. I made you precious. You are the apple of my eye. Let's be a little kind, not only to others, but to yourself. Don't you know that you deserve that? Don't you know that you were special? Don't you know that you were created for so much more? That there is so much more to life than this? And you want so much more, not only for you, but for your children. So we don't want to be on the roller coaster of some days we're up, some days we're down. I did that and it was so tiresome. I was so tired of being up one day and down the next day, or up one week and down the next week. We just got to embrace. We got to embrace. We got to get in his presence. We got to spend time with God. You know, some of us have got too far away. It's like the word of God said, we talk about God with our mouth, but our heart is so far from him. So examine yourself tonight. Where are you in your heart? Do you truly love God? Do you truly allow him in? Do you truly give him control to do what he needs to do to get you in the place where you need to be? We quote the phrase, create in me a clean heart and renew the right spirit that is within me. But are we really letting God create in us a clean heart? Because it starts with you. It starts with you. We give as we have. So we have to be in a place where we're able to allow God to put within us that we can empty out to others. You can't keep emptying out, and there's nothing for you. You can't keep giving out love. You don't even love yourself. Giving out what? Anger, anxiety, frustration, pride, arrogance. So I wanted to come on again and just embrace self-acceptance. Embrace loving yourself. Embrace who you are. You are special to God. He loves you. I love you. Your heart matters. That's the biggest thing for me. Until I allow God to work on my heart, until I gave myself back to him, not trying to do everything in your own strength, allowing God to vindicate for you. It is not always your battle. Sometimes the battle is the Lord. Sometimes we need to just stand on his word, trust in him in all things, and let him do the work. And just see life for a moment. Just think. Sometimes he just wants us to acknowledge. He's like, oh, she's acknowledging me. You know, she's acknowledging me. She's standing on faith. She know I can do it. You know, she know I will do it. Because his words say that he inclined his ear to our prayer. And we don't have to go on this long, drawn out prayer. A lot of times I say, God, I need you. I need you to work this out. I need you to do this for me because I can't do it. And he's so ready. He's so ready. He's so ready to do it for you. Allow God to do it for you today. And there's some things, and I say this, and I guess this is one of my little mottos, things that are in your control. It is in your control. Sometimes we need to make decisions. Sometimes we need to change our atmosphere. Sometimes we need to surround ourselves around different things, different people, different places. Some things that we can do that could change so much about us. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for God to do it. Allow God to do it in you and accept the things that you can't change and change the things that you can. Why? Because your heart matters and you deserve it. You're special to God. You're his number one. He don't have a respect of person. If he did it for me, he'll do it for you. God bless you. Thank you for coming on. I wanted to encourage you. See you tomorrow. Have a good night. God bless. God, I ask you to give them strength where they're weak. And I ask you to bless them in whatever the area they need in. I ask you to comfort them and give them confidence that they can learn how to accept themselves just the way that they are. And allow you to just breathe on them and give them fresh wind, that they will have peace at heart and peace at mind, to know that you are in control, that if they would just release all things to you because you care for them and you want what they want for them, but they got to allow some other things to happen in order for those things to happen. You got to be ready for what God is wanting to do. So get yourself in alignment, posture yourself in the right position, and allow God to do just what he wants to do. God bless you. I love you. Have a wonderful night. Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you, Facebook.